Hello, everyone. I am really excited that you are here today. And I'm just going through the motions of getting everything hooked up here in the right way so that I am not distracted by Facebook and YouTube's funny integration. So, hello. Today is our second episode in the series, our 8-part series that we started last week called Unbridled Unity, Mastering the Balance and Bond of Partnership. And today's episode is called Mastering the Art of Balance. A lot of mastering here. But that's really what horsemanship is all about. That's what being in relationships and partnerships are all about. It's about mastering different components or different aspects of ourselves, of how we engage with others, our horsemanship knowledge, and learning to receive our partners as equals. And when it comes to horses, we've got that 51-49, because remember, we are the leader. When you come together with a horse, you have now become a herd, and in a herd, there always needs to be the leader. And if you miss answering the question your horse gives you at any given moment, which is often, are you my leader? If you answer wrong or don't answer at all, then they assume that in that moment they need to step up and be the leader. So, what is mastering the art of balance? Remember, this series is the human or the woman has 4 major responsibilities, and the horse has 4 major responsibilities. And when both can uphold their end of the relationship and the partnership, that's where the magic begins. That's where the deeper trust, the connections, the communication, all just blossoms. So we are covering in these first 4 episodes the women's responsibilities within the relationship. This one is mastering the art of balance. And what does that mean? Well, I'm going to start with the obvious, which is we need to be balanced in our seat. When we're riding our horses, we need to have a balanced seat. Now, what does that mean? It means that we need to be riding with our horses in rhythm and not on our horses out of rhythm. And the reason that that's really important is because if we are not balanced, we have tension in our body, and we're riding on top of our horse, we are putting undue strain and stress on their spine and their dorsal latimus muscles. And horses like to be balanced. They need to be balanced in order to travel to the best of their ability, whether it's a walk or a canter or a full-blown, lope. They need to be balanced because they don't want to fall any more than we want to fall. Well, if we aren't balanced in our seat and we're not riding with them, but we're riding on top of them, and we're gripping and trying to hold on, this makes them get out of balance in their body to offset our out of balance. And the really powerful example that I like to use when I'm talking and teaching about balance in the saddle is therapy horses. Bless their hearts. Everybody, let's just take a moment and send some huge love to those therapy horses, those therapeutic riding horses, those horses that are in any kind of really riding program where they're having multiple people on their backs learning how to ride. But really, let's talk about the therapeutic, the handicapped rider who doesn't have balance. Sometimes they can't mentally even think about how to be balanced. Those horses are constantly shifting their weight in ways that are not natural so that they can travel in balance and not dump their rider. Bless their souls again. I'm an animal communicator for those of you that don't know. I'm an intuitive, and I work with a lot of animals. And I have a couple therapeutic riding programs that call me out regularly when they start having some problems with some of their horses. And it's hands down, they get burnt out from constantly holding the space for their riders, constantly putting their natural instincts on the back burner so that they can be the safest they can be for those handicapped riders, for those imbalanced riders. And so again, let's just love those horses up. And so oftentimes what will help them is some body work, some R&R, send them out to pasture for a month, just give them a break. And most of the therapeutic riding programs that I do animal communication work with, they do. Their horses get breaks. So that's the extreme of why it's important for us to learn how to be balanced in the seat. And so balanced in the seat, what does that mean? It means we're not hanging on their mouth for balance. We're not bracing in our feet because we're nervous and it's helping us balance. And we're not stiff in our core. All of those things create an imbalance in us, which creates the imbalance in horses. Now, there is a saying, I don't know if I've said it in any of these videos, but I'm going to say it now. And if I've said it before, it's worth repeating. So many things I talk about are worth repeating. And now I forgot what I was going to say. Oh, got it. The horse is a mirror of us. So if the horse is not doing what we're asking them to do, normal people and trainers go to the horse and fix the horse. Holistic trainers and horsewomen check into themselves first. My horse is bracy in the front end. How am I in my upper body? My horse has short, choppy strides and can't get his hindquarters up underneath him. How am I in my lower body? Because our upper body and our hands directly communicate to the front end of the horse and the front legs. And the lower part of our body communicates to the hind end. So if our horses are not balanced, the first place to check is within ourselves. So the most common things that I see in the women that I work with, and I love you all so much, is tension in your body, stiff lower back, which for years I grew up, I didn't grow up taking horseback riding lessons. My horses, I've had horses all my life, and my horses were my sacred sanctuary. I had an extremely abusive childhood, and horses is what kept me sane. So I watched other girls at the boarding facility getting lessons, and they looked miserable. One of the things I noticed was they were very stiff in their upper bodies, and their lower backs were very arched, which put all their weight on their pubic bones instead of being soft in your lower back, sucking that belly button into your spine, which softens your lower back and puts you on your sits bones, which allows you to ride with the horse instead of on the horse because you've taken that brace away. It saves their back from kissing spine, and it saves our backs. So think about it. If a horse is a mirror of us and we arch our lower back and we put tension in our feet, we're driving our pubic bone into their spine and their muscles. And so they're going to arch their back to get away from that pressure. Remember, pressure motivates, release teaches. Most horses that have been taught that concept when engaging with humans, because horses communicate that concept to one another. You watch horses play, pressure motivates, and it's the release that teaches. And one of these days, we're going to talk about positive reinforcement and my thoughts on that. But remember, pressure motivates, release teaches. So if you're pressing into that horse's spine because you're arching your back and have tension in your back, they're hollowing out their back. So then they develop abdominal muscles that look like a hay belly. You're compromising their spine and their dorsal latimus muscles, as well as you're compromising your spine. So if you take nothing away from this conversation today, please, while you're riding, focus on sucking that belly button into your spine and watch how it releases your lower back, gets you off your horse's back. Make sure you can wiggle your toes in the stirrup and you're not putting pressure on the stirrups. Because if you put pressures on the stirrups, it pushes you up out of the saddle. That's why when your horse zigs, you zag. It's why if your horse stops, you go forward. Because you have too much tension in your body. The other thing I want you to do is put your tongue on the roof of your mouth and side to side and on the floor of your mouth. Because if you can't do that, you have tension in your jaw. If you have tension in your jaw, they're going to have tension in their jaw, and it's going to create a rigid neck. Balance. So what else does balance have to do? Where else does it show up? We need to be balanced on the ground. Balanced within ourselves means we are aware of what's going on inside of us, mentally, emotionally, physically, and spiritually. Spiritually is that heart. Is it closed or is it wide open, receiving our horses and everything around us? Is our mind just so laser focused on, I got a half an hour and we're going to get this shit done. We're going to get that correct lead. We're going to whatever. Or is it open and expanded and I have a plan and I have a focus, but I'm also here present with my horse. And if this doesn't work, I'm willing to be flexible. Are we there emotionally? Are we open to receiving our horses emotionally? Or are we scared? Are we frustrated? Are we angry? Are we sad? Are we feeling a little doubt? Where are you? And physically, Are you here fully present, taking those deep belly breaths down into your power center, that dantian, that space 3 inches below your belly button and back to your spine, which puts you grounded in the present moment because you are fully oxygenating your lungs. When you're fully oxygenating your lungs all the way down and your focus is in that dantian, that power center, that womb space, we are grounded, we are focused, we are in the parasympathetic nervous system, which means we are responsive. We are getting blood and oxygen to all parts of our body. And if horses are a mirror of us, this matters. We need to be holistically self-aware so that our horses truly feel us as the leader they need us to be, that they can trust us, that our words aren't, oh, I love you so much and it's okay, we're going to be fine, patting them. We're going to be fine, you're okay, but inside everything in your body is contradicting that with tension, and you're not taking full breaths, which puts you in that sympathetic nervous system. What does that mean? It means you're releasing adrenaline and cortisol. It means you're only taking in enough oxygen to oxygenate those parts of you that are designed for survival, which is your heart, your lungs, and your muscles, which puts your brain in the state of lacking the oxygen it needs, which means you're in reactive mode, not in responsive thinking mode. And your horse is a mirror of you. So that puts them in that, what's wrong? Why is she acting like this? What is she worried about? What's so many of our horses are taught by trainers who are not aware of what's going on in their own bodies. And therefore, they unknowingly put their horses into that sympathetic fight or flight state of mind while they're learning. And then they become overreactive adrenaline junkies. And then we're constantly fighting, so sad, constantly fighting with them to try and get them to calm down and think and be our responsive, trusting partners. But they weren't taught that because humans are not aware. What I love about what's been happening in the last 5 years is myself and my peers around me who really are in it for the horse are learning that horses have an emotional body and that horses and humans' autonomic nervous system is directly connected to the emotions, the emotional body. And the emotions run the ship in humans and horses and dogs too. And we are just now really, thank you, Stephen Peters, who is going to join me at the end of September for an amazing horse brain seminar. He is the one that opened my mind to this, along with Martin Black. I love the two of them. Warwick Schilling is on board as well with the emotional body in the horse that needs to be nurtured and developed. But the reason we haven't is because the emotional body and emotional fitness in human beings is not taught or addressed. The emotional intelligence book just came out like I don't know, 15 years ago. So we're catching up, but great things are happening for the horses. And we women who want that unbridled freedom, heart, soul, confidence-based relationship and partnership with our horses, we are on the leading edge of allowing our horses to fully be seen and be heard. And it starts with us learning our 4 major responsibilities and upholding them, mastering them. You guys are very welcome. And thank you so much for tuning in. I love all this stuff. And I love that you guys are joining me. So thank you, Teresa. Thank you, Kristen, and anybody else that's joining us. Thank you. We are the 1% who are truly changing the world for horses in a better way. So thank you. I appreciate you so much. So that is today's episode. It's about balance. And I teach it to my women in my online program. This is a shameless plug. My Unbridled Freedom 12-month program dives deeply into all of this stuff. And it's not just a horsemanship program. It is a self-development program because our horses can only be. Margie, thank you for joining us. Margie and I have been working together for a while, and I adore her and her horses. Back to Unbridled Freedom. It is not just a horsemanship program. It is a personal development program, because if we are the leader of our horses, we first have to know ourselves from the inside out. And how are we showing up? What are we saying to our horses in the universal language, which is body language? And if our horses aren't doing what we're asking them to do, remember, they are a mirror of us. First look in before you look out. I am here to help. This Unbridled Freedom private group is for all of you to reach out to me, ask me questions, tell me what you want to know more about. Share what these videos are doing for you. If you want to learn more about my 12-month program, please reach out. I'd love to talk to you about it. I take 12 women a year, so I still have some opening for 2024. If you're not ready to take that deep of a dive into this stuff, stay here, because I am giving you guys the best of the best that I've got. Well, probably not actually true, because I got to hold some stuff back for the program. But I am on a never-ending learning journey of learning to be the best I can be for my horses and all of you. And therefore, what I teach is ever evolving. All right, ladies, we will see you next week for adopting the horse's mindset. Our next responsibility, our 3rd responsibility of the 4. Remember to breathe. Remember to breathe all the way down into that power center, which grounds you, gives your body all the oxygen and the blood it needs to be the best that it can be, especially in the presence of our horses. Because when we do that, they can be the best that they can be. All right, everybody. As you can tell, I'm passionate about this stuff. I appreciate you all so very much, and I will see you next week.